The reading for Wednesday, the 22nd of October, 2025. Let's begin by taking a deep breath. And just releasing it slowly. And to the best extent you can, depending on what you're doing, just be here right now. Reverend Jesse's offering for today is called Love Only Knows, and the first quote is from S. Howell Creed, who says, "How do you go about recognizing God? The same way you recognize a friend when you meet one." And this is from Observations. It's, of course, Ernest Holmes. It's actually published in 1968, and it's on pages 45 and 46. And this is what Ernest Holmes said. "In reality, each one of us is a guest of the universal and infinite host," capitalized. We're not strangers in the universe, but one with all the reality, love, reason, and power there is. This is the meaning of spiritual science. It is not the control of one mind over another. It is rather the control over our own thought, to the end that the divinity that already is inherent within us may blossom with greater verdure, fragrance, and fruitage in our experience. This is a spontaneous act. We don't have to go about with a disconsolate look to be spiritual. One truly is spiritual who implicitly believes in and trusts the action and reaction of spirit. Our mind must be prepared for its entrance and its passage through us. We merely become still and close our eyes temporarily and let spontaneous presence flow through the imagery of our thoughts into the manifestation of our life. As I said, that was from Observations, published 8 years after Ernest Holmes passed away. And that's on pages 45 and 46. And this is Reverend Jesse's comment on that, or his explanation, if you like. He says, "If controlling our own thoughts is the key to tranquility and happiness, then there must be a way each of us can manage that. Not just those who are gifted with enormous self-discipline and perfectly tuned brains. That's where the spontaneous presence comes in. We're not strangers to it," capitalized, "and we're not alone. A power greater than anything we can imagine is waiting to reveal itself once we turn to it, doing for us and through us what we haven't been able to do for ourselves. It tells us we're all right just as we are, and that we are welcome to be more." I remember reading about mindfulness and Thich Nhat Hanh, and I also remember a story about, I forgot who the guy was actually. He was in a meditation, and his mind had been wandering a bit, and the person next to him was a Buddhist who was, I think he was a Buddhist bishop, but anyway, he was a long-time Buddhist, and he was pretty advanced. And this person was complaining that their mind had been wandering, and explained what had been going on. And then the Buddhist said to him, "Well, not as much as mine. Mine was all over the place today." And the guy was shocked because, Buddhists, especially ones who are well on their path, we think of as being great meditators, perfect meditators. Well, apparently they are just as subject to mind wandering as we are. So the whole point really is to keep practicing it, doing it, because we know that quiet time that we take every day, I believe it gets us closer to spirit, as do a lot of spiritual teachers. But it's also very good from a physical and mental standpoint. We know, from medicine that meditating is really good for us. In fact, I think it was Reverend Jesse who was commenting on this enormous drop in blood pressure by meditating, and they've been doing it for several months, and over that period their blood pressure had dropped tremendously. So there's lots of benefits besides the spiritual essence of it, which is getting closer to the spirit of life that flows through all of us. So there's lots and lots and lots of good reasons to start taking some quiet time and meditating, but also to know that there is a power that does hear and understand our thoughts and feelings and does act on them. So it isn't just being quiet. We know that when we actually concentrate after that quietness and we put our thoughts and feelings together, that there is a power responding to it, bringing things about in the material universe. So those are my comments. Reverend Jesse's affirmation text is quite long. He says, I look forward to the future with joy, in peace and gladness, and live in the present with an inner assurance of being one with all life. Take it as you wish. And yes, the last part there, being one with all life. I truly believe that we're divinely connected. In fact, when we went for a walk this morning, my wife and I walk with a neighbor who lives across the street. And as we began our walk, my wife said she'd been on the scale and she was happy because she'd lost a bit of weight. And the neighbor said, don't tell me. And she told her the exact weight. And Barbara hadn't told her. So that's pretty good. We are all connected, and we can all do what this neighbor did, because everything, we live in an interconnected universe. And that is really the basis for one of my messages today. We live in an interconnected universe. And I am knowing for each and every person here that they feel the divine connection, that their spirits and their bodies and their minds respond positively to this. And I claim health in body, mind, and spirit for each and every person who watches and listens to this presentation today. And so it is. And that's it. I will see you tomorrow. And look out for my colleague, Reverend Lisa Ryan, who will be on 9:15 on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page. And then look out for, and if you're signed on to, or you're, linked to Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page, then you'll get a notice when anybody's online. For instance, the meditation for midweek by Daniel Mercadal, you should get a notice when that comes out as well. So until next time, namaste.